All right. I like to describe myself as a person with three halves because I was born in one country, I was brought up in a second country, and I have the citizenship of a third country. I'm still a foreigner in any of the three, but at the same time, I identify myself strongly with the three nationalities, although I only have one. And I almost had zero, actually. My father was Irish, my mother Spanish, and my mother decided that she wanted me to be born in Spain. They were living here. What she didn't know at the time was that there was a law that said that if a Spanish woman married a foreigner, she would lose Spanish citizenship. So technically she was not Spanish. But I found myself in a situation which I was not aware until I was into my 20s. But it was the only scenario where Spain would not recognize the person born. So the risk was that if my father's country of citizenship did not accept me as a citizen, I would be stateless, which is it's a very awkward position for anybody to be in because if you don't have a state or a citizenship, you don't have a passport, you can't travel, you're not recognized, you don't have rights, you can't vote, you just can't do many things. I didn't realize that. I described myself as Spanish until my 20s, when I decided to go live in Spain. And I couldn't even get a visa. It was quite an eye-opening, because from being brought up with a feeling of, actually, not only a feeling, being brought up in privilege, from a socioeconomic perspective, I suddenly realized how fragile all of that was. A minor detail could have taken all of that away. So it makes you appreciate what you have, but also have much more sympathy for people that don't have it. I was brought up in Brazil. My connection with Ireland and Spain were through my parents. I spoke the three languages by the time I was 5, thanks to my mother for the efforts she made on that. But I didn't know enough about my background. I knew I had come here on holidays to Spain, to Ireland several times, but I didn't know what it felt to live here. So I went first to Spain. I spent 3 years living there. And had a great time, beautiful country. And then, my father passed away. And the last conversation I had with him was him telling me, you should come to Ireland or go to Ireland. You're going to like it. Try it. And that was the last time we talked. So I immediately after he died, I made some plans to come here. Well, I was brought up in Brazil, so it's a really, really big country. If people haven't noticed yet, the southern hemisphere is shrunk in the world maps to make the northern hemisphere look bigger. But Brazil itself is bigger than the United States without Alaska. And you put it over the European Union that we had until the late 90s, it's 3/4 of the size of that European Union. So it's a huge country. And I actually knew a guy, I met him once, that had a farm. His family had a farm that was the size of the island of Ireland. So when I was planning to come, I started waking up in the middle of the night having nightmares. The nightmare was that I was falling into the sea because the island was too small. Bizarre. And it was enough to wake me up. Obviously, it was all the uncertainty of moving to a new country. But yes, the whole population of Ireland is smaller than several of the cities I lived throughout my life. So I went back to Spain, shut down everything I was doing. Took me about 6 months. I came to Ireland and the economy had entered a recession. And everybody that I had talked to, instead of hiring, they were firing, which was, a bit disappointing, a bit of a shock in the system. because I was so confident that things were going to work. So as I couldn't find a job, I decided to start a job. I was only going to be here for 6 months. But after the 6 months, I had already started employing people. So I couldn't just pack and go. I had spent my 6 months. I had enjoyed it. I felt that Ireland was a country that was ripe for change. It was a country that had a lot of potential. But it still was far away from what it is today. Well, for starters, you couldn't find a cup of cappuccino in Dublin. You will walk into any place and say, "Can I have a cappuccino, please?" And I go, "What?" I am a foreigner anywhere I go. I'm not from anywhere. I've been here a long time, but I was a long time in Brazil. I was born in a different place. I don't belong completely to any of them, and that's okay.